So those have been the key highlights so far. And to give you a rounded perspective on this, now I'm joined by Mr. Prabhu Dayal, who's been a former senior diplomat. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you so much for joining us at this afternoon broadcast.
Sure.
Sir,
So yesterday,
yes.
President Donald Trump announced that the U.S. forces had hit a major docking facility inside Venezuela. Now, he described it as a major explosion at a site used to load narcotics onto boats. Reports from CNN and New York Times indicate that the attack was a CIA drone strike. Now, the Trump administration has sharply escalated tensions with Venezuela through direct military actions.
Right.
The US has conducted at least 30 strikes on alleged drug vessels.
And in this context, Mr. Dayal, this has been the first ever land-based strike when we talk about this by the US inside Venezuela.
The significance of this operation yesterday is the fact that it is the first known land operation. And this marks the first publicly acknowledged US land operation inside Venezuela. So I think this marks a major military escalation. Right. The strike signals an aggressive new phase in the US campaign. While previous operations primarily targeted vessels in international waters, this move brings the conflict directly onto Venezuelan soil. Now, let me add that while this whole thing is being projected as an anti-narcotics operation,
right,
the fact is there are clearly regime change objectives. Trump's goal is for Maduro to step down. The US continues to recognize opposition leader Edmundo Gonzalez as the winner of the 2024 election. Trump has blamed Maduro for emptying prisons and insane asylums. You know, he's releasing prisoners and mad people and sending them to the US, using this also as a tactic to build military pressure. So now Trump has reportedly given Maduro a one-week ultimatum to leave the country. He did so in November. And relations have reached their highest level of friction in decades. So de-escalation of US-Venezuela tensions appears unlikely in the near term.
Now, according to you, Maduro is yet to comment on it when we talk about it. How pressurizing the situation will be from here onwards for Venezuela, because you've also given the context that this is beyond drug trafficking now.
Well, yes, you're right. There will be a lot of pressure which will continue to be built up. As it is, the pressure is intense. The US has deployed more than 15,000 troops and the world's largest aircraft carrier, which is the USS Gerald R. Ford, and also F-35 fighter jets to the Caribbean. Secondly, there have been other steps like the airspace closure. Let us recall that on November 29, President Trump declared Venezuelan airspace to be closed in its entirety. Thirdly, of course, there are these covert operations. Trump has confirmed in October that he had authorized the CIA to carry out covert actions inside Venezuela. And then, of course, there is the bounty on Maduro. There is a reward for giving information leading to the capture of Maduro, and this has been doubled to $50 million. So all this indicates how the US is building up pressure on Venezuela, and as I said earlier, the objective which he has in his mind is regime change.
So what could be the possible repercussions of this move? Because this extended action comes after repeated warnings by Donald Trump to Maduro.
Well, I don't think there is going to be any easing of tensions between Venezuela and the United States. I don't think that President Maduro is going to capitulate under US pressure. And as a result, the tensions between the two sides are only going to escalate. I think that what is likely to happen is some sort of a mediation by countries which are in the region, because if this sort of pressure building up continues, there is a possibility of an enlargement of the conflict area, because as it is, some of the operations have been carried out in international waters, and the countries of Latin America don't want any such escalation. So there could be the possibility of mediation by third countries, but as things stand at the moment, the de-escalation of US-Venezuela tensions appears unlikely in the near term.
Definitely. And also, Mr. Dayal, if we talk about the exports, now currently Venezuela is exporting about 900,000 barrels per day. But tell us how the repeated actions will put an impact on possible supplies.
Well, first of all, if there is an escalation in the region, maritime shipping gets automatically impacted. And the enormous pressure which is being built up on Venezuela through attacks in the international waters around it will definitely affect maritime shipping and therefore affect the exports of oil from Venezuela. Then, of course, there is no doubt that many countries which are friendly to the United States will stop buying oil from Venezuela because they would be afraid of annoying the United States president. So there is likely to be the escalation of tensions and pressure on the build-up of more pressure on Venezuela. And this will, of course, impact its exports of oil also.
And also, as you mentioned in the beginning as well, beyond the drug smuggling operations that US is targeting on papers right now, there is something else which is to be read between the lines, which can come to the fore prominently. Can we expect that expectation, that aim that Donald Trump is having to come more prominently after this land strike?
Yes, certainly. As it is, President Trump's real motive is, as I said earlier, a regime change. And he has, in fact, given Maduro an ultimatum of 1 week. This was done earlier sometime in November. But the point is that he will continue to build pressure on President Maduro and try to make him resign and hand over power and leave the country. So I don't expect any easing of pressure, and more there is a likelihood of the idea behind these sort of attacks to come more openly out to the front, and that is that Trump wants a regime change in Venezuela.
All right. Thank you so much, Ambassador Dayal, for joining us and getting us the latest on this very important topic that the world is discussing right now, the first land strike by US in Venezuela.